Looking at an eyewitness video shot off the coast of Bermuda. Looks beautiful, but the ocean is certainly angry. The wave action is already picking up. You can expect waves 3 to 6 feet in the harbor by this weekend, 20 to 30 feet outside of the harbor. An extremely dangerous situation as we watch Hurricane Leslie move closer to Bermuda. Let's go in depth right now with Chris and our hurricane specialist, Dr. Greg Postel.
And Crystal, right now we're going to start off with something to talk about in the Gulf.
Yes, we actually have something other than Leslie and Michael, which is in the Atlantic. We have something much closer to home that we'll have a look at. Let's look at the Tropics Watch page and show you where that is right now. We do have Leslie in the Atlantic that is moving northward very slowly, a couple miles an hour. So is Michael, moving a couple miles an hour. But look at Invest 90L. Now, the reason why they call it Invest is because the National Hurricane Center is investigating this system, and it is right now just offshore of the coast of Florida, which is right there, and Alabama and Mississippi as well. It's a 30-mile-per-hour storm. This is the 1 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center. It's moving south-southwest, which is in that direction right now. Anyway, that's the direction it's moving.
And the next question is, what is it going to become, and where is it going to go?
Well, yes, in order to answer those questions, we need to look at and see what it looks like right now to see if there's any opportunity for it to strengthen in the near term, in the next couple of hours or next 12 hours. Not really. It's not well organized right now. The center of low-level circulation is just south of Pensacola, about 30 miles south-southeast of Pensacola, right there. But notice, all the thunderstorms are way out here. And you know why?
Got the winds blowing in different direction in the upper levels,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. We have a strong wind aloft that's blowing the thunderstorms off to the southwest like that. And those strong winds aloft are associated with an upper level area of low pressure, a little dip in the jet stream that's kind of cut off.
And without those winds, it would have a better chance of developing, correct?
Indeed. It's still very close to land, so it would have a hard time, but definitely those upper level winds are not helping things at all. And this is the circulation around that upper low, which is just the east of Florida, and that's what's blowing those thunderstorms and giving 90L kind of that unhealthy appearance in the satellite imagery. But what's going to happen over the next couple of days, now notice the timeline here. This is now late week, so this is tomorrow and Friday, right? That upper level low begins to move out of the way just a little bit, and then 90L drifts sort of southwestward and is left in a weak steering flow, which means there's not very strong winds aloft. The water is warm, and it will be able to intensify if it can get its own act together. So the environment won't be hurting it. It's got to do it on its own. And then after that, as we head from late week into the weekend, then we think whatever happens with 90L will get pushed off toward the east, toward Florida, as another dip in the jet stream comes by and eventually pushes it in that direction. So it's got a small window of opportunity, a couple of days, we think, Thursday and Friday, maybe to get its act together in the Gulf of Mexico, but then we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. And here's what the models generally do with 90L. They push it off to the east, and there we go, over Florida over the weekend. So it could be a rainy time of it if 90L does indeed move over the Florida. And then just, here's Hurricane Leslie. We got to mention this. As of early this afternoon, it turned into a hurricane, and it is moving slowly toward the north, towards Bermuda, and it won't be until the weekend until it gets there.
And you'll have a closer look at Leslie coming up at 50 past the tropical update.
Exactly.
All right, Crystal.
Well, take a look at this. Storm clouds on the move in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Amazing images here. This is time-lapse video sent in by one of our eyewitness viewers. This area didn't get much rain yesterday, but residents did see lots of lightning and some gusty winds along that storm front. If you didn't get the rain yesterday, you're getting it right now. In fact, more severe weather around the Fort Lauderdale area. Pembroke Pines on the west side of Miami. Severe thunderstorm warning, and that stops just as we get to Boca Raton. So those storms are going to produce some dangerous lightning. Remember, there is no safe place to be outside if there's lightning. Could get some hail and damaging winds. And speaking of damaging winds, moving right through Louisville, a strong gusty storm. We had warnings on this, and Louisville's kind of behind the worst of it now as far as the strongest winds, but you're still in the heavy rain. There's some lightning out there in Cincinnati. The storms are moving in on you. So that's the cold front that is cooling areas off around the upper Midwest. That's also going to keep the severe threat going throughout this evening. That includes much of Michigan all the way down into Memphis, also watching a few spots in the southern plains. Chris?
Crystal, rain delayed play at the U.S. Open today. A look at the chances for a possible repeat for tomorrow coming up. We're tracking storms in the northeast, and most parents hope their kids are safe at school. But findings of a new study show most schools are not prepared for a natural disaster.